everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Book Club for Movies. I don't have a big topic for us this week, and I haven't picked anything up over the weekend, so this video might be the shortest one that I actually ever put out. Let's talk about the 3 movies that I saw since we spoke last. Now I'm going to go ahead and give a spoiler. This is going to be a negative episode of Book Club for Movies. This week, the book club didn't see anything that great. I saw 3 movies. We're going to talk about them in chronological order. I really wish I had a better movie for us this week. The first movie that I saw this last weekend was a movie by the name of Bubba Ho-Tep. Bubba Ho-Tep I picked up at McKay's for $14.95 in trade credit. To start off with, that's a lot for me. Now I know in previous episodes I've told you all that's my sweet spot. That's my sweet spot for when we are only dealing with cash. Okay? If it's cash, $15 is my sweet spot. But if we're dealing with trade credit, most movies I pick up are half that at the maximum. When I go to the bargain section of McKay's, most movies in what I call no man's land are really about $1, $2, $3 maximum. So you're telling me I'm spending $15 on one movie? I'm averaging about $100 in store credit turnover every trip. So this is a big chunk of that. And I was familiar with this movie. I remembered that I had seen it. This movie I saw probably 10, 15 years ago on my laptop. I'm sure I pirated it at the time because this movie has a great premise on paper. This movie is known as Bubba Ho-Tep, came out in 2001, 2002, and the premise is that Bruce Campbell plays Elvis. Bruce Campbell plays Elvis. Okay, you've already sold me. Bruce Campbell plays Elvis in a forgotten-about Texas rest home where a mummy has appeared, and the mummy is slowly consuming the souls of everybody at the rest home. Okay. You got a bit of a schlocky premise. Okay, how you sweetening the deal? His only friend in this rest home is an equally elderly African-American gentleman who swears he's JFK. And he might be JFK. Okay. Movie cost $1 million. And it's very clear they spent most of it on Bruce and Bruce's makeup. Because they don't get to do a lot of the Bruce Campbell, good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun, normal Evil Dead crap that I enjoy. We don't get to see him really mow anything down because he's elderly. Because it turns out a movie called Bubba Ho-Tep with this cast and this premise is actually about the indignity of what we do to the elderly. About being forgotten about, paid to go away, on welfare. Nobody respects us, nobody cares for us. And he's just trying to do one more thing right before he passes on. Bruce Campbell plays Elvis, who swapped places with an Elvis impersonator about 10 years before Elvis died. And everybody in the rest home just assumes he's an Elvis impersonator who's gone senile, believes he was actually Elvis. That's why he's among friends with the fella who believes he's JFK. I really wanted to like this movie. I mean, I spent $15 on it based on the premise and the cast alone, but it really doesn't do a lot with it. It doesn't go too spectacle, but it also doesn't go too adult drama. You can't do an adult drama where you've got a man dressed as Elvis fighting off a really bad scarab puppet with a bedpan. They had enough money to pay for Bruce's makeup, 2 explosions and to set a stuntman on fire. Now, this was a shout release. I remember it was big news when this finally came to Blu-ray. And it's on 4K now. I remember this being big news. People talk this up in the geek film realm. People really talk this up. Now, I've not seen all of the other Don Coscarelli movies. I'll tell you, I didn't love Phantasm. I liked John Dies at the End, but I'm also a big fan of that book. And he really did adapt that book well. And then the only other Don Coscarelli movie I've seen is Survival Quest, which really wasn't anything to write home about. I saw that a couple years ago. But it's... For Bruce playing Elvis, his performance nets this movie. I think I rated it 2.5 or 2. I think I rated it 2.5. I have to pull it up. I'll drop it in here. But I'm sad. I'm sad that I didn't love this movie. This is one of those movies that I was really hoping was going to scratch a particular itch. Because we got spooky season coming up. If you see friends around spooky season, you will love putting on a good party film. You will love putting on a good, fun film to talk during. Unfortunately, this isn't that. Because we spend too much talking about, what we do to ourselves. What we do to the elderly. How we feel at the end of our life. Was it all worth it? Are we going to be remembered positively? But I'm really Elvis fighting a hillbilly mummy with my friend JFK. It's not, I really wanted to like this movie. And I'm sure somebody else is going to love seeing this at McKay's. Because when this goes back with me on my next trip, I'm sure somebody's really going to love seeing it there on that shelf. Bubba Ho-Tep is going in my McKay's bag for my next trip. Apparently, I would have been more interested in the sequel/prequel that was going to be about a lost Elvis film made decades prior. It was going to be the last Elvis film, is what this film's prequel was going to be about. They were hopefully going to make in the late thousands, early tens. Where Bruce was going to play Elvis again, but he was going to be younger Elvis, so it works out a little bit. Elvis before he did the swap. And it was going to be about Elvis fighting vampires on the set of his last film. And Paul Giamatti was signed on to play Colonel Tom Parker. Now that sounds great. That sounds amazing. But if the movie had come out, I'm more worried that it'd be, again, a really sad, depressing adult drama that just happened to have a monster in it. The reason why I picked that film was because I was trying to pick a shoe in, essentially. I opened Letterboxd and I saw that I had rated 499 movies. And the next movie I was going to see was going to be the big 500. I've been rating movies on Letterboxd since late 2019. Back when I rediscovered my love for film. I had fallen out of film, life had gotten hard, I had dropped out of film school. And that's really as Letterboxd was on the rise, and I rediscovered my love of film, and I've been spending the last 5 or so years kind of figuring out what it is exactly that I like, what is it exactly that I love, what films do I share with people, what films do I recommend to people, I'm trying to figure out my taste, essentially. It's been a long road here. And I picked Bubba Ho-Tep, and it didn't waste my time, but it's going in the bag. So the next movie we ended up watching, movie number 2, is a movie by the name of The Hitman's Bodyguard. This is a movie that I saw, we rented it when it came out in 2016. I rented this at home with my parents, and I remembered thinking it was fine. And this is how I know that my taste has changed, is this movie is terrible. You want to talk about learning your taste. This movie has absolutely no direction. No direction. And the cinematography is downright terrible. The effects are awful. Everything. The CG blood. The CG imposed guns. The CG cars. Everything looks terrible. There's an action set piece about 2/3 of the way in where it just looks like nothing's in focus. It looks like the cameras have been smeared in Vaseline. There's terrible green screening and chroma keying. It looks awful. And you got Ryan Reynolds, and this is right as he's reaching, the peak of his, he's unstoppable now. Nobody can stop him. I think this was right after Deadpool had come out. And, people were like, we like Ryan Reynolds. I'm learning I don't like Ryan Reynolds because he doesn't do anything anymore. He's not acting. He's not even doing anything. He just kind of shows up, looks straight in the camera, reads his line, and that's it. And he's not doing anything. I didn't like the third Deadpool. I didn't like Deadpool and Wolverine. I liked Deadpool 1, liked Deadpool 2, did not like Deadpool 3. And Samuel L. Jackson is not much better in this. He's better, but he's just coasting. It's not a good movie. It made so much money. This is not a good movie. This you want to talk about a waste of time. Hitman's Bodyguard is a waste of time. I think I gave it a 1.5. Might have given it a 2. I just remembered saying I thought for sure this was going to be better. This is a movie that, my wife looks at and thinks she's going to like. And I was hoping she would have a good time, but I think she spent enough time with me to, things are starting to rub off, and she's like, I didn't like this movie. Why did they do this? You want to talk about complete coasting in this movie? Gary Oldman is in this movie, and he's completely checked out. He just shows up and he's like, okay, what are we doing, Eastern European today? Okay, I am former president of country. Okay, I killed everyone. He's just doing that. Just doing that level now. There's a sequel with a different director and a different cinematographer. Nobody saw it. I think it came out mid-COVID times. If I see it in McKay's for around what I paid for this one, we might watch it down the road, but it's not like, it's not like when we watched Fast 7, and I said, I can't wait to watch Fast 8. Because, there are some things that can queue up in a film and get you excited for the next one. This doesn't have any of that. Also, I'll tell you, Samuel L. Jackson does not have a good laughing face at his age in this film. He looks terrifying. Watching a movie like this lets you know that they'll never be able to make Midnight Run again. And if they do, it's going to be the Hitman's Bodyguard. But with that, Hitman's Bodyguard, which I bought for $4.95 of trade credit, is going in my McKay's bag for my next trip. Now, we saw one more movie this weekend. This was the best film that I have seen this weekend. But spoilers, this movie is also going in my bag. I had some hopes for this one. Not going to say high hopes, because it's Public Enemies. It's Public Enemies. Michael Mann. Michael Mann is one of those directors that I'm trying to watch more of his body of work. Especially as he gets older in years, especially as he makes less movies every couple years. I'm trying to catch my Michael Manns as I can. I will tell you, very unpopular opinion, I thought Heat was okay. Collateral, fantastic. Collateral is one of the best movies I saw last year, but maybe it's because Collateral has a really good premise. And Michael Mann gets to accent that. with how well Michael Mann can shoot some scenes. Public Enemies is a biopic, except it's really only about the last couple months of John Dillinger's life. And it really shows how much people loved John Dillinger at the time. I think this movie is set in 1933, if I remember the interstitials correctly. You got Johnny Depp playing John Dillinger, and he's not really acting in most of this. He's really acting in about 3 scenes. He's got some good character actors around him. Jason Clarke is doing his Jason Clarke. Stephen Dorff is good in this movie. You got Billy Crudup as J. Edgar Hoover. He's really good as J. Edgar Hoover. And then we've got Christian Bale. We've got Christian Bale. I think this was filmed right after Dark Knight. So Christian Bale, he's not really, doing his Christian Bale-ness in this. It's like if you saw Christian Bale get asked to play a character, but they said, I don't want you to do anything weird. This character has no eccentricities. This character has no perversions. This character is straight down the road. Then why did you hire Christian Bale? The man is born to play a psychopath. He's hired as the man who's, the FBI props up as the new agent in charge to take down John Dillinger and the other bank robbers of his era. And he's not really tied in. I'll tell you, the best performance in this movie, I think, goes to Marion Cotillard, who's really good in this movie as John Dillinger's girlfriend, or John Dillinger's last girlfriend, because, spoilers, he dies at the end of the movie. But she's really good. And they do give Christian Bale a hero moment, because at the time, people thought of Dillinger as a Robin Hood character. The only people that died during his bank robberies were cops, and he never took people's money at the bank. He only took the bank's money because it was insured. So people loved John Dillinger. And they, the FBI is trying to make a case that we really need to take these people down, but, there's a scene where the FBI needs funding, and they're saying this much money is so much more than the bank robbers have stolen, essentially. Why would we pay you if you're not going to get the results, and it's going to cost us a lot more money? So it's the foundation of the FBI, essentially, in 1933. And they have the most punchable-faced agent in this film. It's where Christian Bale gets called away to an investigation, and they're interrogating Marion Cotillard, and he is beating her to a pulp, and everybody is aghast. And they can't call Christian Bale, because Christian Bale's somewhere else. And she tells them misinformation, makes a goose chase out of the small team, comes back, starts beating her to a pulp again, then Christian Bale shows up, and the movie gives him a hero moment, even though the movie knows that nobody likes him because people loved John Dillinger. We get a hero moment of him taking her away from this interrogation because she can't walk because she's been beat so badly, and he walks her down the hall. Gives him a hero moment. It's really touching. But the movie does not tie in to Christian Bale that well. Christian Bale has a couple men die at the hands of Babyface Nelson. But it doesn't seem to affect Christian Bale himself. And then at the end of the movie, when they start doing, the epilogue texts on the screen, it says Christian Bale's character killed himself a year after Dillinger dies. It's like, we didn't get that from this movie. What you showed doesn't tie into the facts. I should see him, torn to shreds. I should see him crestfallen. I should see all of these things. And it doesn't show any of that. I'll tell you, the last 30 minutes are good. The last 30 minutes are good. Because Michael Mann knows how to film an action scene. But the rest of this movie is really distracting. Now again, this is the initial Blu-ray release. This is not the 4K or anything. But watching this movie, there's a lot of inconsistent color timing. One shot will be sepia tone, and then it will cut onto the same shot, and it'll be saturated full color. And it doesn't match. And I think Michael Mann also discovered what he could do with some digital cameras to offset his film cameras, since he discovered digital cameras when he was making Collateral. Because there are shots where it looks good. It looks like a 30s biopic. We got nice, big 35mm shots. And then we get these really grainy, handheld shots. But it doesn't match what we're seeing. We can be in a prison cell, confined, unable to move. We got shaky handheld. It doesn't match. It doesn't match. It's not. It really was distracting anytime they'd swap over to that. I ended up giving this movie a 3 out of 5, but it's a low 3 because of things like Johnny Depp's really phoning it in a lot of this movie. Christian Bale's not giving me what he needs. The color timing and those camera shots being distracting by not giving me what they should be doing. And all that combined, 2 hours, 20 minutes, really bottoms out in the middle. Doesn't tell me the story of what the movie wants to. Because this movie opens on Dillinger, one of his most famous stories, of being taken to prison with the plan of immediately breaking out his gang from that prison. You could have done a third of the movie right there on the planning, on the pacing, and all of that. It doesn't. It's just Dillinger breaks them out, and then, oh boy, here we are robbing banks again. Like, it doesn't. The last third is the only third worth watching. This movie cost me $1.95 in McKay's credit. This was the cheapest film that I purchased in this pile. And it's the highest rated. Because again, just because I spent more on a movie, $15, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to love it more than a movie that ended up costing me $1.95. With that, Public Enemies is going in my McKay's bag for my next trip. But with that, that's all for Book Club this week. I hope to catch you all next time on the Book Club for Movies. Have a good week, everyone.